Hi, guys. Good morning on YouTube, going live on TikTok with our Holy Week Bible chat. See if I can straighten up YouTube's camera a little bit there. Self-producing as always. So good morning, everybody. Happy Holy Week. It is Wednesday of Holy Week, and so we'll give you a few minutes for everybody to join. Hi, guys. Good morning. Let me take that sound down. There we go. All right. So good morning and welcome. Happy Holy Week to you. This has been my update every day on Passover week of the original Holy Week, and what happened each day. So let me firm up with a little bit of coffee there. So yeah, join me. I love it if you let me know where you guys are joining from on YouTube and on TikTok. We're going to talk about what happened on Wednesday of Holy Week. Remember, to review the weekend, Jesus came to Bethany. We had the moment where Mary anointed his feet with oil, washed his feet with her tears, dried his feet with her hair. By the way, I'm doing a series on my TikTok page right now that you guys can check out called Great Sex Stories of the Bible. And so I'm going to do this at the end of the week. I'll do the story of Mary. For a woman to take down her hair at the feet of a man was a very sexual act. And it's why I believe the Pharisees around were like, oh, why doesn't Jesus know who this woman is? And so, yeah. Hi, guys. So let me know where you're joining from on YouTube or TikTok. And then Sunday, Jesus goes into Jerusalem. It's the triumphal entry. It's the cursing. He checks out the temple and then goes back to Bethany. Then Holy Monday, he comes into the city. He curses the fig tree. He turns over the money tables in the temple, hits the religious people with whips, and really tells the world, I don't like religion. Yes, that was Jesus who was saying that day, I hate religion. Hi, Chuck. Good morning. And so then on Tuesday, we come back into town on Holy Tuesday. The fig tree has withered. The Pharisees have a little, no, I don't believe the temple needs to be rebuilt. I think you are the temple. The Bible tells us clearly that we're now the temple. We don't need the temple to be rebuilt. That is, I believe, a gross misinterpretation of the Bible. But you can disagree with that, and that's cool. But I do not believe we're sitting around waiting for the temple to be rebuilt. And I don't believe we're sitting around waiting for a rapture. That's my view of the end times. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today, because Tuesday was also the day of the Olivet Discourse. And but so today is Wednesday. So let me tell you about Wednesday of Holy Week. It's known as Spy Wednesday. Isn't that a great name? It's Spy Wednesday today. Go around and tell your friends, blessed Spy Wednesday to you. So what is Spy Wednesday all about? Well, it's Spy Wednesday because it's the day that Judas conspired to turn Jesus over to the religious leaders. And I like to say religious leaders rather than Pharisees. Texas Conservative says, I'm an evangelical, so that's what my pastor tells me. I'm an evangelical too, have been all my life and have been told that. But so and again, your pastor can disagree with me. These are arguable. But the idea of a rapture and a premillennial tribulation and all of those things that we learn about, those were never a part of the church belief system until the very end of the 19th century. They're very new theologies in the history of the church. And they're what I was always told as I was growing up. And then as I really started studying these passages in the Bible, it started to not add up. So I do not believe we're in the last days, that Jesus is coming any day. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about that, how I see that today. But I do understand that's what we've been taught. And yeah, that's one of the teachings is like, once the temple is rebuilt, then Jesus will come again. And so that's why a lot of evangelicals believe the Temple Mount and the Islamic shrine there needs to be torn down. And Islamic people are like, hey, wait a second. By the way, we didn't tear down the temple in the first place. And so a lot of those things. So Spy Wednesday is the day that Judas conspired to turn over Jesus. So let's talk about this. You have your Judas questions today. All right, put them in the question box and we'll hit them. Thank you, The Happening, for letting me know that. So why did Judas betray Jesus? We see in the Bible that Judas is called a son of perdition. And so some believe like he was born for this purpose of turning Jesus over. I actually don't believe that's true. I don't believe God would ever denote a person like you're cursed from the start. I don't believe that about Esau, and I don't believe that about Judas. I believe Judas had a chance to make the choice. So why did Judas do what he did on Spy Wednesday to turn Jesus over for 30 pieces of silver? Well, imagine this. As a kid, you're taught someday the Messiah is going to appear. You could even be him, son, because you're so amazing. But the Messiah is going to appear. And what he's going to do is he's going to overthrow the government. He's going to make our nationality and our religion in charge of our country. And our country is going to be made great again. Our country is again going to be the military and financial economic power of the world. And when that happens, you'll be in charge, son. And when that happens, God's plan will exist on earth through you. And so that's what you're taught every day of your life over and over and over again. And so you're just waiting, and your people have been waiting for 400 years for this Messiah to appear. And suddenly somebody says, here he is. And in fact, much of your life, people have said, oh, here's the Messiah. And then it would turn out not to be that guy. Oh, here's the Messiah. It would turn out not to be that guy. And then suddenly you hear people saying, here's the Messiah. Here he is. He's this guy, Jesus from Nazareth. This is him. And imagine if you saw that guy doing miracles and healing people, and you start to think, could this really be the guy? Boy, I'm looking around. Other people think he's the guy. And so the guy that people are thinking is the guy comes to you and he says, I want you to be a disciple, one of 12 disciples. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. We've been waiting for 400 years. Here's the Messiah. And he's asked me to be one of his inner circle. I am going to be in charge of the world, just like Mama told me all my life. How would you feel? You would be so thrilled that what you had been taught all your life was coming true in your lifetime, and you were going to be right in the middle of it. Wouldn't that be amazing? So that's how Judas saw what was happening. By the way, that's how Peter saw what was happening. That's how the other guys around him saw what was happening. Now, imagine you're Judas and you start to hear this Messiah say things like, I didn't come to take over the government. I came to take care of the poor, the marginalized, and the foreigner. And you see him sitting with a Samaritan woman at the well. And you hear the other religious people saying, oh, he's not the Messiah. He's just an imposter. Your guy suddenly is being rejected by the religious establishment. Hi, Texas conservative. I think we're way overreacting to little Nas X. Like Christians, we overreact to everything. Yeah. And again, I'll tell you more about that. So Judas is looking around like what Texas conservative is saying here, like what's been taught in evangelicalism. Jesus is going to come, he's going to take us, and we're going to be in charge of the world. We're going to be great. Our country's going to be made great again. And we're going to be in charge. And God's plan is going to be extant on earth through us. And those evil people are going to be slain and killed. It's exactly the belief system that Judas had. So now Judas is seeing that his Messiah is not acting as the government conqueror that Judas thought he was going to be. And if Jesus ends up getting killed, Judas is like, well, what's going to happen to me? I'm one of the inner circle. I'm probably going to get killed too. And he's probably encouraged Jesus, no, we're ready. Look at this. And then you come over the hill into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, and suddenly everybody's yelling, Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And Judas, being a Christian nationalist, like evangelicals today, is like, yes, this is it. Now we're going to take over. Now we're going to be in charge. Now our country's going to be made great again. Imagine yourself in that place. It's not hard because it's the evangelical belief system of today. And Jesus is telling everyone, no, I'm going to die. I didn't come to take over the world. I came to die for it. In Texas Conservative, I would appreciate you listening to the story rather than just continuing to throw out stuff. And Judas says, no, you can't do that. By the way, so did Peter. Peter said, stop it, Jesus, you're not going to die. And Jesus turned to him and said, Peter, get behind me, Satan. That's a put down. I'll be glad to address Texas Conservatives, what he's saying in just a bit, but I want to finish the story. Just have grace for everybody around you is all I'm asking. I don't understand why Christians feel like this, that they have to just keep yelling their stuff. Just be human with everybody else. Just be gracious. You don't have to shout all the time. You don't have to hate everybody. If you truly believe your religion, God's really big and Satan's really not. So why are we so scared of Satan all the time? That's what I don't get about evangelicalism. Why are we terrified of the devil? If we truly believe our story, God's big and the devil's not. So why are we always puffing up the devil so big? For those of you on YouTube, there's just some conversation going on TikTok, and I'm trying to help our Christian friends realize you don't have to be like this all the time. I just don't get it. Other than I know it's what I was taught all my life too. So now Judas is seeing Jesus say, I'm going to die. And Judas is thinking, how can I make this happen? I was going to be in charge. Jesus was going to make our country great again. So back to Spy Wednesday. And yes, we're on YouTube right now, and this will be recorded on YouTube so you can see it. And Judas thinks, I know what I'll do. I'll turn Jesus over to the religious authorities, and that will force him. He's not going to really allow himself to be killed. So if I turn him over to the authorities, then he's going to have to step up, call the angels down from heaven, and destroy these terrible, sinful people, these horrible Romans, this horrible government, this cabal of baby eaters. Are you getting that there's a parallel to our story today on Spy Wednesday? That we, as followers of Christ, have decided that it's our job to take over the government, put our religion in charge of it. Then America will be made great again, and then God's plan will be extant on the world. That's the evangelical belief system. That's what you see come up in the comment section on TikTok over and over again. God hates the world, totally ignoring John 3:17 that says Jesus didn't come to condemn the world, but to reconcile it to God. So Judas says, I'll turn Jesus over for 30 pieces of silver. That will force Jesus to do what I want Jesus to do. And trust me, this is the evangelical belief system. We think we can manipulate God into doing what what we want him to do, and for Jesus to come again. So Judas sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, and evangelicalism has sold Jesus for what? Because we want to be at the table, even if it means we have to partner with a horrifically terrible leader like Herod or Donald Trump. That's the price to pay to save our country, save our religion, and save God's plan on earth. Because we don't believe God is big enough through his love to reconcile the world. We have to do it through our anger at the world. So we sell Jesus for what price? 30 pieces of silver. And like Judas, one day we're going to realize, oh my God, what have we done? Judas came to the realization and he went out and hanged himself. I think I saw somebody say this in the comments, and I believe this strongly. After Jesus rose from the grave, after the resurrection, he sat down with Peter and said, Peter, do you love me? And he said it 3 times. And Peter realized, like, oh, I denied Jesus 3 times. And I believe if Judas had not killed himself, he could have had the same moment with Jesus where Jesus said, I totally understand why you did what you did, but I restore you. And Peter, through that restoration, Jesus said, hey, your brothers are going to need you to lead. And I believe Judas could have had the same experience with Jesus and been an amazing leader in the kingdom going forward. Why did Judas betray Jesus? Because he wanted to be in charge. He wanted his religion and his nationality to take over the nation, and for God to then make their nation the greatest nation on earth. Judas believed exactly what the evangelicals of America believe today. If we're in charge and our religion and our nationality, and frankly, our European white heritage is in charge of the country, America will be great, and God's plan will be extant on the earth. It's a very corrupt belief system that someday, and I believe too late, American evangelicals will realize they've partnered with the exact same belief system that Judas did. And we see it in comments like we're seeing on the string. We think God is angry at the world and wants to conquer the world, when in fact God, through the story of Jesus, was saying, I so love the world that I'm willing to put on flesh and take the worst the world has to give, so that forevermore relationship between heaven and earth can be restored. God's not looking to destroy people. When James and John wanted to call down fire from heaven to destroy people who had rejected Jesus, it says Jesus rebuked them in the harshest terms. The term that was used for rebuke was, stop it right now, you idiots, you hard-hearted fools. And then he said in a verse that is not in all the translations of the Bible, so it's a disputed passage, but I like the tenor of it. He says, you don't know the spirit you're of. So when we see these comments, and people don't know the spirit that they've partnered with. Jesus was saying to James and John, if you think I want to destroy people, you don't understand who I am. You've partnered with a spirit, with a mindset, with a groupthink that's not from heaven. And Judas was so that mindset was so ingrained in him. And like I said, so ingrained in Peter too, that they couldn't see the true meaning of what God was doing in the season through the life modeled by Jesus. In Isaiah 43, I believe, there's a word that says from God, behold, I am doing a new thing. It springs up now in the desert. Do you not perceive it? And I think it's what Jesus was saying to Peter when he said, "Get behind me, Satan." He was saying to James and John when he said, "You don't know the spirit you're of." And he's saying to evangelicals today, are you so blind you don't have eyes to see and ears to hear? That making America great again is not the goal. And certainly not the goal if it means you have to partner with horrible leaders to try to manipulate it to happen. That is an aberrant religion that Jesus would say, not one stone of that thing could stand on another going forward. Spy Wednesday is all about partnering with something not from heaven to try to make your religion and nationality be in charge of the world. When the life modeled by Jesus was that if you want to change the world, you serve it and die for it. You be willing to give up everything for the people that you don't think deserve God's favor. If you're wondering where I got this information about Judas, this is written in extra biblical writings. And it's a story that really makes sense. So we don't have this insight in the Bible as to why Judas betrayed Jesus. The Bible and then the people that sort of take that very literal way will come and say, well, he was just the son of perdition. He was born to be evil and do this. But I don't believe God, the character of God that was displayed through Jesus is not a God that would say, yep, you're going to be evil from birth and you're going to go to hell forever because that's what I decided. Thank you for the flowers, Graham, for going to therapy and improving yourself. So let me encourage you today. Just know that humanity has the ability to partner with something just like Judas did and betray Jesus just like that. Yes, this is being recorded on YouTube. You'll be able to see it on the Pastor Paul YouTube channel. By the way, I built a new link tree. If you click the link in my bio, it's really cool. You'll have to it looks a little scary, like you're going to some spam website, but if you go to it, then it has links to everything, like the Zoom church link, because I've just had so much trouble. So click that link in my bio and it links directly to everything that you need to know. My Patreon page, my novel, if you want to check out my novel, my evangelicalish YouTube channel, my Pastor Paul YouTube channel. So yes, this will be on YouTube. I think it's amazing insight. What Judas was pursuing in his heart is exactly what the right-wing Christian nationalist church, white Christian nationalist church is pursuing today. Super user-friendly, thank you. And so you can see with people like this young person that came in today saying, I'm an evangelical, and so it has to be this way. We've been blinded to what God is really doing in the season. And so you see, this is what Jesus said about the Pharisees all the time. I talk in parables because they won't understand it, because the curse of Isaiah 6 is on them. Your stomach is growling a lot. I'm sorry. Oh, geez, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Let me pull the microphone up a little bit. It's because I'm drinking coffee. I had gastric bypass surgery a few years ago. I'm not supposed to drink coffee, but I'm addicted, so I can't help it. All right, let me pray for you guys. I didn't get to Matthew 24 because I felt like, Kristen, you crack me up. Because I started getting on this story of Judas and got really inspired by it. What happened to Judas betraying Jesus? What happened to Peter denying Jesus? What happened to James and John wanting to destroy people because they rejected Jesus is exactly what we're being drawn to through our evangelical belief system. Shorty 07, I see that request for prayer. A second mass on your brain. Oh my goodness. I have heard of the 1946 documentary. In fact, I connected with the producer. May have him on a podcast soon. Shorty, I'm so sorry. So, Shorty, I don't believe that I have any magical power to pray for you that's any greater than anybody else. But I believe if we connect our spirits together and you give me the authority to pray for you, that I can bring comfort and ask heaven to come and interact with you in this. So that's what I'll do this morning. So God, as you've given us the ability to connect with one another, to empathize, and through our empathy, carry one another's burdens, I pray for Shorty today. And I'm so sorry for Billy. It just hurts my heart to know that she has to carry the pain of a second mass on the brain. Thank you for all of you who are sending your love to Billy right now, who is Shorty 0709 in her moniker. And so, God, I just say, come and intervene in this incident for Billy. We would love to see healing come, this mass disappear and go. Sorry, now I'm very aware of my stomach growling. We love you, Billy, and we declare that love over you, and we declare God's love over you this morning. And we pray that that love will permeate your spirit and your physiology and cause something amazing to happen within you. That your purpose in this world will continue on. And we say, you are amazing and amazingly, wonderfully made. Amen. Go eat, says Rosie. I'm not hungry. I ate breakfast. It's just the coffee. Coffee always makes my stomach rumble. And my stomach now happens to be way up here. So it's right where the microphone is. Purple is your color. Thank you. I got this t-shirt in Arroyo Grande, which is kind of a cool little town over on the coast where we like to go. My break at work is about over. Thank you for this message. Keep up the good work. All right, guys, this will be available on YouTube. If you didn't get to catch the whole thing, you can watch it over there on the Pastor Paul channel. Yes, purple for royalty. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Thank you. Gosh, I've been hearing that a lot lately, that my voice is calming. That's pretty cool. I like that. So 7 a.m. tomorrow, join me for a Hearing God moment. And also I'll do my what happened on this day of Holy Week. So blessed Spy Wednesday to you. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys for so many wonderful, sweet comments on TikTok. I don't know what to do about TikTok screwing me on my page, but I'm going to hang in there for you guys because the love you guys sent out was unbelievable. So thank you. Thank you, Chuck, for the compliment. Love you all. We'll see you later. We should all blow out candles on Friday. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you later on TikTok. And